you all? Thank you guys for being here. Say hello to you guys. Hey, Missy Jessie. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Punksy. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Alyssa. Hey, Crime Story Diva. Grandma Sherry. Hey, Petunia. Hey, Penny for your thoughts. Cool Gamer. Hey, Eddie. Deb, Web Weaver. Hey, Mystic. Wait, did I say Mystic? I think I did, but if not, I definitely saw you before, and that's why. Hey, Maria. Hey, PJ, Carol, Ava, Pointer Lover. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Emily, Country Bumpkins, Shauna, Violet, anybody I missed. How are you guys today? I am doing pretty good. I wanted to do a live on Summer, because there are some things happening around that case. And we're still going to do that, but I need to iron out a couple things. And there were some new updates in this case. And I thought we definitely don't want to miss talking about these things together. So that is the plan. Hey, Amy. Hey, Melly. Hey, Mama Chase. Hey, Mel. So let's see. Let me just start because I've got several things I want to show you guys, and I want to be off of here by 3:30 because my friend Melissa Jade has a live at 3:30. So first, we're going to start with this. Now, we're going to watch a clip from News Nation, but this was something that kind of came out last night. And it's really interesting. So Legacy is someone I follow on Twitter. They kind of follow all the same cases I do, and they find really good information, and they're pretty active. So this is from their post, and they say, the sex offender's wedding held by the jail chaplain and witnessed by the sheriff's secretary who maintains the list and her deputy's son does the only one visit at the house to Jesse. Why was everyone enabling Jesse? Why they wanted to close the investigation and leave it like a murder-suicide without investigating properly. Furthermore, leaving behind evidence. Now, I first started to hear about some of this from a channel called Kate Does Crime, actually. And she has a great channel. Lynn, okay, you can't chat. Will you do me one favor before you go and drop Kate's link? Because I don't have it in the bot. And she actually is the first person I saw kind of talking about this. And thank you, Eddie. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Carol Claus. Hey, Vanessa. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. Because there is something much bigger going on. It's quite interesting. Okay, so let me show you the next one because we're going to watch this little video, but I want to show you a few little things first I thought were interesting. So then Legacy tweets and says, it's important to mention these names. See pictures below. Melissa Smalley, the sheriff's secretary, had McFadden on the sex offender list. A year later, she witnesses the wedding conducted by the jail chaplain. Melissa's son, a deputy, conducted the only visit Jesse McFadden had since he was released from prison. I don't want to call this a cover-up, but dang, it's looking like that. And that's not what I'm saying either. I'm just saying we're talking about the details as they come out. It is bizarre. And yeah, so let's watch this video. Then we're going to watch, I want to read to you guys this new article about people demanding more. Actually, here's the tweet of Kate's that I saved. Here's her kind of talking about it, but this is not what I saw first. It was, I think, a YouTube community post. If y'all haven't seen this yet, Jesse's 90 home compliance check was done by an officer with the last name Smalley. Also, Holly and Jesse's marriage witness was Melissa Smalley, who is in charge of registering sex offenders. Now, if you guys missed the live we did, I think it was yesterday, where we went through his Twitter and his likes and stuff, oh my God, you definitely want to go back because, yeah, it was a lot. Amanda says Holly definitely knew. Hey, struggle is real. Ava, my mods are awesome. And let me just put Lynn in the chat. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, all of you guys. Shelly, we don't know if the victims were examined for rape, or if so, how many DNA was found. Hey, Okie Crime News with Teresa. Okay. So now let's just watch this video and then we're going to keep going because there's a lot of people speaking up and demanding more. And I think that's important. You know, I've seen people on TikTok that are covering it and they're basically like, I'm going to shut up until there's change. I will cover it nonstop and make you sick with it. We're going to cover it over here as things come out, of course, and as well as covering the other cases that we talk about too. Okay. So listen to this. This is the most bizarre thing. When I heard this, I was like, wait a minute, huh? Say what? I almost put that in my title, like, excuse me?
I want to bring in Cameron Spradling. He is a local attorney representing Ivy Webster's family, and he's live with me now. Cameron, we've been, periodically touching base with you to sort of find out the most we can, given the fact that law enforcement has been so tight-lipped. Do you have any updates at all since we spoke last week?
Yeah, this was so bizarre that this came about. It was kind of like a rumor that we were tracked down. I have a very good former FBI agent named Martha Justice, and she's my private investigator. And I put her on this problem with this marriage license, and I can try to give you a timeline if you'd like, but it looks like May of 2021, he moved into the community, Jesse McFadden, and checked in as a sex offender with the sheriff's secretary. And then it was about December of 2021 that Holly got divorced. And then in March or so, we know that he was already living in the house. And in May, he comes back to the jail, and this is May 2022, and he gets married by the jail chaplain, witnessed by the sheriff's secretary.
What and why? Who would what? Okay, I'm going to share Evil CJ's channel in the chat. You guys, he's put out some of the letters and some different things. He has a great channel. So you guys go over there and subscribe if you haven't yet. Jax, if I were a family member, I would try to take all of this to court and make the police answer the questions they themselves have raised. I know. I cannot imagine, Jax. And I think they're trying to do that, Okay, hold on. Let's listen to that just one more time, because this is quite strange.
He moved into the community, Jesse McFadden, and checked in as a sex offender with the sheriff's secretary. And then it was about December of 2021 that Holly got divorced.
December, Holly's divorced.
And then in March or so, we know that he was already living in the house.
She gets divorced in December. By March, he's already living there. And was it May that they got married?
House. And in May, he comes back to the jail, and this is May of 2022, and he gets married by the jail chaplain, witnessed by the sheriff's secretary. And here's the crazy thing, and let me add one thing that you haven't mentioned. Less than a month after the marriage, there was only one time that a sheriff's deputy ever checked the house, and that was after the wedding. And there's no other checks at all before or after at the residence of this sex offender. And the check was done by the sheriff's the sheriff's secretary's son. And
it's quite a web. Quite a web has been woven, huh? Mystic says, hey, Wolfie, I understand people want us to be respectful of Holly, but no way, this is effed up. These are our children people are messing with. This is my thing. I'm going to, until, like me personally, I was running a channel, I'm going to keep it as factual, based on what we get from police. However, so I may not always say, hey, this looks suspicious of her. She's a victim. So I want to be careful. I don't want to cause any damage. And sometimes I don't think some of these channels even think about the damage that they can cause. But that being said, I want you guys to feel free to share your opinions, share your thoughts. You are entitled to your opinion no matter what it is. As long as it's respectful, then it's just adds to our conversation. And especially if it like somewhat disagrees with me or someone else, because we can learn from each other, so just to get that straight. Thank you, Okie Crime News. The biggest red flag, in my opinion, is acting like the horrible things in the house weren't evidence. I know. She knew, Mystic says, keeping it all in their circle. Yes, they were. Hey, Akasha. Yeah. So, but I still don't mind what you say, whatever you think. You are allowed in my chat to, whatever you think. I love and respect you guys. And I know that it's kind of hard to make sense of all this. Hey, hybrid Pisces. Hey, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Wolfie. So many red flags in this case. Children should not be around SOs, period. I know. I especially, Holly's kids were like right around his target age, and that is just.
Melissa Smalley's son is the sheriff's deputy that did the check at Jesse McFadden's house. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that just so, because it's a lot. It's a lot for me to take in, and it's a lot for our audience to follow too. Melissa Smalley, who's the assistant deputy, or she's with the sheriff's department. She's the assistant who signed the marriage certificate. She has a son who's a sheriff's deputy.
You register sex offenders. Yes.
Right. There's another nugget.
Her son, Crafton Smalley, is 30 years old and lives with her. And he did the site check in June of 2022, just after the marriage. And that was the only site check that was ever made at that house.
So,
and by the way,
wow.
Yeah, and according to the site check, the documents himself, all he did was verify that he was at the house. That's all that took place.
Didn't go in and take a look.
Those are the documents we've seen with the kids' names and ages listed out. Hey, Melissa Jade. Let's see. Ava says, I think you can be both a victim and complicit in the unthinkable. It does not give them a pass, but if we identify it, it can help in the future. I agree. I totally agree. I just, it's hard right now to know because we just don't have enough information, I will say, I've had comments from a cousin of Holly's who's been commenting under some of my lives and basically saying this has been so hard for her to make sense of because Holly was a really great person. And she's like, I don't know if she was involved, but I just can't see it myself, And remember yesterday, if you weren't here, we looked at some TikToks of people who worked with Holly and they were like, I couldn't believe this. All she talked about was her kids. And then another friend who went to school with her who said she was the sweetest soul on earth. So, we just don't know. All we have is a bunch of we have what happened. We have the video of the scene and we have people coming forward all over. I've never seen this actress who was paid. I would like to see that. Hey, Crime Curious. Good to see you. These community family relation loyalties are the biggest problems with these small town cases. Well, it reminds me of summer a little bit, All right, let me keep listening because I got a few other things I want to show you guys.
Look at some of the restraints and the candied drugs. Okay. So then the next question is, if you're a registered sex offender, it's my understanding you have to check in every 3 months. It also, in his paperwork, says he was compliant. What does that mean if there was only one on-site check? What else would have happened or likely would have happened to get this compliant designation?
He didn't do anything. There's no explanation for that at all.
Unbelievable.
There was only one check on him at the address. We don't have any proof that DHS ever went to that house and saw where those children were living at. We don't have any proof.
Which they're supposed to. I read that yesterday. In Oklahoma, the law is if a registered sex offender moves in with kids that are not, they can't be their victim and they have to be, there's a few stipulations, but one of them is the DHS has to be notified and kind of be, I don't know if they want to come out and I don't know how they do it, but I know that they have to be involved and notified.
Proof that anyone ever went into the house and looked
Cameron,
at the
would he have been going?
situation?
So I'm just trying to, I never, lived with or been close friends with a sex offender, but would it be possible that he would check himself in at the sheriff's department, bring donuts and say, hi, it's me, Jesse. I'm one of the good guys. I'm making it easy on you. You don't have to get in your cruiser and come to my ranch. I'll just come in and do it for you. How are you all?
I have two theories on this.
We don't know that. That's just the theory, right? She's just asking.
One theory is that you have to understand that sex offenders are manipulative They're brilliant at what they do in persuading people. And so when he checked in May, he just dropped in so they didn't have to go find him, and endeared himself to them, introduced him to Holly, his fiance. Life is good. He
Okay, so that's kind of interesting.
was going to be their success story to them, and they opened their hearts to him, opened their chapel to him, opened their chaplain to him, opened the secretary, and they all had a big wedding. That's one theory, that they were all taking advantage. The other theory is that they knew before he was married that he was living in that house with 3 children, and he wasn't married. I mean, he wasn't married to her, and that would be a violation.
Okay.
So they suggested to him, come to the jail, let's get you married so that you won't have a problem anymore. And that's why her son was the one that did the site check 3 weeks after the marriage.
That makes sense. You know, it's just a theory. Again, it's the Ivy's family lawyer giving his theory, but that does somewhat make sense.
We are not finished this conversation. Wow, all of this stinks. I mean, really, something's rotten in Denmark here. It stinks, and I want answers, and they just won't speak to the press because apparently we're the villains in this story, even though our screeching finally got them to come back and collect evidence. Cameron Spradlin, thank you so much for this.
Okay, so then I have another video from News Nation, and we will watch that if we have time. But before, I want to show you guys this. So this article came out last night. It's the local news. It says there's no communication. McFadden victim calls for public investigation. Tulsa attorney Brett Chapman, and there is a little video that kind of goes along with this, but Tulsa attorney Brett Chapman, representing a victim in a case involving alleged murderer Jesse McFadden, said his client, it's the texting client, or the client, it's the texting, that he met in jail, said his client is seeking an investigation into why McFadden slipped through the justice system. Chapman represents the victim in a 2017 solicitation case involving Jesse McFadden. He said the case involved McFadden allegedly sending inappropriate material to the victim, and that the victim initially wanted the justice she believed she was entitled to. Chapman said the potential justice was taken away from her when Okmulgee authorities found McFadden and 6 other bodies at his Henrietta rental property. This guy was able to victimize her again by doing this horrible crime. And then the incompetence of state officials victimized her again, he said. Chapman said his client tried to warn the Muskogee County District Attorney's Office, which filed charges in the case, that he shouldn't have been released on a $25,000 bond in 2020 after serving 85% of his prison sentence. She's actually taking efforts to try to protect the public doing their job for them and to try to keep him from being out. He said no one listened until McFadden had already been released. With officials, the victim said she spoke with allegedly admitting that the ball had been dropped in the case. Chapman also said the victim believed her Victim Bill of Rights was violated by a lack of transparency during proceedings leading up to his release and the lack of opportunity to be heard at those proceedings. She had no opportunity to go up there and voice these objections to a judge, he said. The district attorney's office was well aware of this young lady's objections to this man being released after he was released. Lodge was district attorney at the time the case was initially filed, but has since taken a new role as a judge. News Channel 8 reached out to him for a comment, but he directed our request to the DA, Larry Edwards. News Channel 8 reached out to Edwards' office, but has not received a comment. What needs to happen is the right people need to see where exactly this went wrong. There's got to be some type of constructive change. So here's the attorney that is representing that young lady, and he tweets this. He tweets this tweet from Jonathan Hayes that says, "It got other people killed." Brett Chapman says one of Jesse McFadden's victims turned to him for help after the abandonment and dereliction of duty in her case that likely got 6 people killed. And he says, "I truly believe the state of Oklahoma's courts got 6 people, including 5 kids, killed. The officials involved with this botched the case repeatedly. State, we dropped the ball," which is not an acceptable answer. That dismisses complicity in a nothing we can do now but move on fashion. I like this guy. News Channel 8 reached out to Attorney General's office for a comment and received this statement. The district attorney has been forthcoming with the public about various issues that contributed to the horrific crimes that occurred in Henrietta. The Office of General Attorney stands ready to assist the DA and local law enforcement in any capacity they may request. The victims of Jesse McFadden, along with their families, deserve every possible effort to provide peace, closure, and justice. Lucia, hey Connie, hey you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ava. Bonafide troublemaker, hello. Hey, Astro from space. Maybe I turn a few true crime heads. Ooh, I'm getting a haircut, getting cute from my YouTube profile pic. So this is really interesting. Why have they stopped chemical castration? It seems to me that it may aid in these crimes and ward off future crimes. I don't know. Hey, family. How is everyone? I love you guys so much. Hey, Ashley, you guys mean the world to me. You really do. Hey, Mind of Monsters. Okay. I think I have the best chat on the tubes. I'm not joking. I cannot believe everything that's gone on with this case. I know. I'm happy to see this, though. So let me show you this attorney for this victim. His Twitter, but it's a video, too. Here's his Twitter, and he says, I ripped incompetent state of Oklahoma court officials on behalf of the victim of Jesse McFadden's 2017 case. Oklahoma prosecutors and judges botched today. Got 6 mass murdered. Quote, scathing words from Brett Chapman, unquote, reporter says. He said, I'm proud to say them on behalf of the victims. So he is, yeah, it's interesting. Hey, Glenjamin. Hey, Miss Marley. Good to see you. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, let me see. I'm going to play this for you guys.
This case I'm holding in my hand is the 2017 case. McFadden was supposed to show up in Muskogee County District Court for the same day Okmulgee County authorities announced he and 6 others were dead. The victim says she tried to get someone to listen, but no one did until it was far too late.
This guy was able to victimize her again by doing this horrible crime. And then the incompetence of state officials victimized her yet again.
Scathing words from Tulsa attorney Brett Chapman. He's representing the victim. Convicted rapist and alleged murderer Jesse McFadden was accused of sexting from prison 6 years ago. He says she tried everything she could to keep him behind bars.
She's actually taking efforts to try to protect the public, doing their job for them, to try to keep him from being out.
And that she didn't even get an opportunity of notice under state law to voice her concerns.
She had no opportunity to go up there and voice these objections to a judge.
This video posted on a TikTok account allegedly belonging to McFadden.
I have to pause for fair use, but I do have something to say. This attorney he means business, and I love that. Actually, you know what? I need to do something. Okay. I just thought
back in 2021, a year after his release. Chapman says his client didn't stop trying.
The victim and her grandmother began calling Orville Loge's office.
She documented her experience with the then Muskogee County District Attorney, and these text messages shared with us, Chapman says, were between her and her grandmother.
The district attorney, Orville Loge's office, was well.
Oh, I want to read those texts. Like, pause it. Hey,
after he was released.
We reached out to Loge,
oh, okay.
County, who declined to comment. Him. He directed us to District Attorney Larry Edwards, who did not return our call.
What needs to happen is the right people need to see where exactly this went wrong, if there's going to be some type of constructive change, because there's no communication.
We also reached out to the Oklahoma.
So we're going to pause this at a couple places because I want to look at a couple things with you guys. Number one, remember, where is that trail? Let me see. I think it's back here. This right here. If you guys missed the video where we mapped out where each person was found, you definitely don't want to miss that. I still am trying to make sense of that in my head. But let's look at this really quick. The DA confirmed, hold on. Someone said, yes, I need good news. She says, the DA confirmed whoever released him dropped the ball. He should have been immediately transferred to county jail in Muskogee on pending charges and given the option at bail or waiting there until sentencing. He has a warrant for his arrest now. Knowing how Oklahoma works, this could take a while. He could try to leave town. Nobody really knows what he could do. Since he has something. Then she said, messages someone else talking about getting off the phone with the DA. And so this girl was trying. She did not want him released, and she was trying. You know, that is, God, that's so sad and just such a shame. And then you have to factor in, you know, mom possibly works for the county. And then you have all these people, the marriage license and the way they got married, and oh my God, then not to mention the major flop immediately in the investigation. Thank you, Cat's Eye. Please don't let this get, you know what? We're going to keep talking about it. When updates happen, we will definitely talk about it. Oh, thank you, CJ. Hey, Amber. Oh no, that sucks. I hope you feel better. Okay, Lynn, I will. Mystic, the longer this goes on and the more I hear, I'm getting madder. If my attorney broke his ankle, I'd still have to go to court. Something stinks. It's quite interesting the way that it is. The way that things are unfolding, you know? And thank you again, Cat's Eye. That was really sweet. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, it's just very bizarre when you hear about, you know, the witness for the wedding and all of that stuff. I don't know. It's almost unreal, you know? Here's the names again. Melissa Smalley, the sheriff's secretary, had McFadden on the SO list. A year later, she witnesses the wedding conducted by the jail chaplain. Melissa's son, who is a deputy, is the one who conducted the only visit to Jesse McFadden's house. I mean, what the F? I don't know, you guys. Let's check out this. I do have one more video, but let's check out his Twitter. This is the attorney that is for that solicitation victim. He says, this is an hour ago. I'm writing the state attorney general demanding an investigation into how the state courts got 5 children mass murdered by Jesse McFadden. The dichotomy between how the state of Oklahoma botched his case and how his brother's case was handled should be a story on his own. And then he inserts his letter. Wow. To the Attorney General, Mr. Drummond. I write regarding this case, State of Oklahoma versus Jesse McFadden. I represent Caitlin Babb, the victim in the failed state prosecution of Jesse McFadden. The purpose of this letter is to request an investigation into the dereliction of duty of the State of Oklahoma's failed prosecution of this case. Last summer, McFadden's brother, Cody Ray McFadden, allegedly, quote, locked a woman in a dog cage and threatened to shoot her with a crossbow before she escaped, and allegedly started a fire that killed a dog, unquote. Derek James, police, man held woman in dog cage. Then he puts his source, which is the news. Then he says, Cody Ray McFadden is a citizen of an indigenous nation. There we go. We were talking about that the other day. So he is a citizen of an indigenous nation having formal recognition by the United States of America. Although violent felonies were committed in the Choctaw Nation, Cody Ray McFadden was held on state charges that were filed in the state of Oklahoma's District Court at Pittsburgh County. Cody Ray's attorney filed a motion for dismissal for a lack of subject matter. The district court granted the dismotion and dismissed the state prosecution, contrary to years of claims by your predecessor. I can't say that. The governor and district attorneys regarding the release of violent criminals endangering the public safety of Oklahomans. Why can't I read today? Cody Ray McFadden was never released. He remains in federal custody. At the same time, Jesse Lee McFadden was a free man by virtue of his botched release from a state of Oklahoma prison in late 2020, and a remarkably low bond set by a state of Oklahoma judge for a child sex crime that McFadden committed while in that state prison serving out a 20-year sentence for first degree RAPE. Well, I am glad that he's speaking up. Nothing is more American than not doing your job so badly that your errors and dereliction of duty contributed to a mass murder of 5 children, and you were appointed to a prestigious judgeship or job with the Justice Department, and you don't ever have to talk about what you did. Wow. Dang, I'm going to retweet that one. Where were they living? Looks so... Yes, Linda, it is like out in the boondocks. They were renting the house. Jenny, Tulsa is very corrupt, taking kids from parents when there's no problem so they can make money off them. Same as the Catholic Church ran Ireland here for a long time, and they've done so much damage to kids. You know what, Jenny? I have talked about this for a while. Like, not Oklahoma, but just in general, CPS and what a failure that they are in almost every case that we talk about that involves kids. CPS really dropped the ball. I mean, Summer Wells, Harmony Montgomery, Oakley Carlson, just case after case. I mean, it's just so frustrating. Oakley Snow. Hey, Christina. Hey, in Apple Bottom Jeans, good to see you. I think they purposely flopped the investigation, trying to do a hard stop on it to avoid uncovering their involvement with the wedding and not checking into the welfare of the kids. You know what, Joel? That makes sense. Why would they want to draw attention to what a huge disaster they created? Hey, Tiny Dancer, thank you. Happy belated Mother's Day for you guys, too. Research Oral Roberts Christian University. Oh. Yeah, there you go. Quentin Simon, crime sleuthing. There's more. I mean, I just can't think of them right now, but I'm telling you, almost every case I've covered here and on TikTok, which honestly, it's been hundreds. I've got hundreds of videos on TikTok, and many of those were requested. Like, I did videos that I wanted to do, but also I would take requests and make videos, little videos about people that were missing or cases that were crooked and things like that. And like, there was one case I covered of a child who was adopted and killed by her adopted mother. But while she was in the process of being adopted, the mom, like, they were breaking plenty of rules that you could clearly see on her social media. She wasn't even supposed to put the kid on social media at all. But where was CPS? Things like that, you know. CPS, organized crime. I know a CPS agent who testified for a child predator in his stalking case. What? Oh, my God. They need to be dismantled. Yes. Absolutely, Carol, they do. Look, I'm sure there are good workers there, but they have an extremely high turnover rate for employees because people, it's hard. It's not, imagine, I've never done it. I'm just saying, just common sense. It can't be an easy job. But, you know, there are going to be people there who truly care. But then again, you know, the people, like, it'd be really hard to take and stay there, you know. I think it was Choctaw, Ava, but I could be wrong. Nothing is surprising when one believes the world is run by psychopaths. All right, let's watch this next video. Well, actually, let me look and see just if there's anything else from this attorney, because I'm interested in what he has to say, for sure. He says, ooh, a bit surprised we actually got the AG to respond. Oh, that's that quote we read a little bit ago. I find one line in there interesting where they recognize, quote, issues that contributed to the horrific crimes that occurred in Henrietta. Now, let's address. The answer isn't tougher penalties. Jesse McFadden exploited the failure of Oklahoma's own agencies and courts to communicate. He committed a sex crime in state prison, had a state warrant, and DOC let him go, and the state judge gave him bond. Fix it now. And he shares this. This is interesting. We have talked about this fella, Scott Fettgatter. He is part of the state House of Representatives in Oklahoma, not federal. He's in the state, but he's been kind of vocal during this. Let me see what he says, and then I've got one more video for us. Henrietta District Legislator wants tougher sentencing for sex offenders. Look at this. Listen to this. He talks. This is interesting because many people, have talked about, were there signs? Like, these kids were going in and out of this house. Did they see these kind of things? Listen to the dad right here.
Jesse and the family for almost 2 years, and nothing came alarming at all. Sex offenders should not get the opportunity to have early release, for one, and for two, they shouldn't be out at all. My daughter should have never ever been there, and I should have been notified. I know everybody said it's up to the parents to know. It's not a yes, I guess you say it is up to the parents, but we need to come up with something to be notified of this, because not every parent has access to a computer. Not every parent has access to a phone that can be looked up, stuff like that. And not every parent has time to search every single person your child is with. They don't. I'm telling you, they don't. And if you say you do, you're crazy, because you don't.
Interesting. The most interesting part of that, though, is they had been there many times and they knew him for years. There was no alarm. There was nothing alarming, So it says State Representative Scott Fettgatter's stages of grief have resulted in him pushing for a bill that would lengthen the prison sentence for offenders of serious sex crimes. His response to this month's killing of 6 people in eastern Oklahoma. Fettgatter now wants people, he's a Republican from Okmulgee in the state House of Representatives, okay? He says he wants people like McFadden to serve every day of their original sentence, which is what he is proposing for some of the most serious sex crimes, including, and you guys can read it. I'm not going to read all those out because Google already, or YouTube's probably already mad at me for my language. Getting a bill passed with just a couple of weeks left in the legislative session is a tough task, especially as much of the work in the state. Hey, I agree. Things need to change. So I'm happy that at least somebody's trying to do that. He says, when I get on top of something, I just stay on it like a bulldog. I will bulldog this thing to the very end. Tougher punishments for sex crimes have also, listen to this, you guys, I just heard about this, have also become part of the national political conversation, including in Florida, where Governor and likely presidential candidate Ron DeSantis recently signed a bill that would make child RAPE subject to the death penalty. Charlie, I believe she worked for the courthouse in the county that he was charged with his crime in 2003. Oh no, Amy. I'm sorry. CPS in Oklahoma has been bad for decades. Tiff, I'm so happy to see you. I hope I said hi, but if I didn't, hey, and if I did, hello again. Hey, Pearl. Let me see. Charlie, are the whales really selling the house? Look, I'm going to do a live on it tomorrow at noon. I wanted to do it this evening. I don't think that I have. I'm waiting on a couple things, and then we're going to talk all about it, and I cannot wait. Oh, my God. Hey, Christina Benton. Seems like the whole justice system in Oklahoma is screwed up. I know, it is. And hey, by the way, Joneson, dude, I love your intro It's a trippy true crime. Every time I hear it, I'm like, dude, I love your style. It's just, I'm all about the tie-dye and all that stuff, so I love it. Hey, Melinda. Treat it like murder. Crimes against babies are the worst of the worst people out there. Okay, let me see. One last thing I was going to show you guys. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited that, look, we have the family members pushing for change. We have attorneys for the family members pushing for change. We have, state representatives pushing for change. You've had the governor speak out. Now, don't get me wrong. This has been an absolute mess with all the misinformation, but I think at least the publicity of it might make a difference. I hope so. That's all you can, hope for. But okay, I'll show you guys this last video. Oh my God, what did I do? Sorry.
Believe I'm reporting out that stuff, right? Like you can't write this. You honestly can't write this. The fiction would be, it wouldn't compare to the truth. But you had a chance to talk with the father and grandmother of Ivy Webster. She's one of Jesse McFadden's victims. I'm just so curious about what their response to all of this has been.
They're shocked. They're still grieving. They're angry. You see video here. I went with Ivy's dad out to a garden that they've built in their backyard where people drop by plants where they remember their daughter.
That is so, oh my God, it's pitiful. Like, this family should not have to have a garden in their yard for their daughter. It's infuriating. It's so, there's this TikTok of this man, and his daughter has these what are they called? Like windmill, like these things that go around in the wind all over her grave. And he'll come out there and he'll be like, Gracie, spin these for daddy. And all of a sudden they'll all start spinning like really fast. And he'll be like, okay, Gracie, stop. It is the most amazing thing it's crazy. I've got to show you guys that sometime. We talk about some of that stuff on my second channel sometimes. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting.
It's so eerie being out here, Ashley. It's dark out here. You can barely see the house behind me, but just behind me is the house where these terrible things happen. And we've been showing the video from inside that Ivy's grandmother, Shannon, shot with her cell phone. A lot of people don't realize that. It is Ivy's grandma who thought, when she went inside and started seeing these awful things, that she needed to record it with her cell phone. And she didn't only do it once. She went outside and they called the family attorney and said, what the heck is going on here? We don't think the police have even been inside this house. The attorney couldn't believe it and told Shannon, you need to go back inside and you need to get more video.
Can you believe that? Thank God the attorney got them to go back and get the video, because that's part of what got all the publicity in this case. It's absolutely shocking what you see in there.
It was awful the first time. She had the bravery to go inside a second time to get that video that basically changed everything and opened the entire investigation all over again. I'll listen to what she told me about that. I mean, just going in that house, it doesn't take much to realize very quickly that things aren't okay.
No.
And if they did their job, they would have seen that from the get-go. But they failed.
An eye hook and chain on a kitchen counter, that's not normal. Was it always there? Don't know. Was it put in when? I don't know. It was like walking into doom when you walked in that house. The smell was just, and it wasn't a cat box smell.
When the attorney told you to go back in to get more video, I mean, as a grandma, that must have been difficult.
Can you freaking imagine?
I couldn't have my daughter do it again.
Can you freaking imagine? Because look at how our minds are going crazy. Look at how we're like, look at just talking about everything, wondering what happened, wanting to know what happened prior to and during all of this. I can't imagine if it was your baby, your grandbaby, God,
I didn't want to do it,
how sweet though.
but I had to. I think that if we hadn't, we wouldn't have what we have right now. I stay awake at night thinking about it. Just adding another question to that list.
So you can imagine, again, Ashley, not only having to go in once, but having to go in twice. And thank goodness she did, because that's the reason really that we're standing here right now.
It's astounding.
Cannot imagine. Okay, you guys, so that is basically the updates that I had for today. If, like I said, if you missed where we mapped out where they were possibly found, I am going to show you guys the video of those pinwheels. It's freaking crazy and mind-blowing. But before we do that, I want to end with reading this just one more time, because I want this to be like remembered, okay? Melissa Smalley, the sheriff's secretary, had McFadden on the SO list. A year later, she witnessed the wedding that was conducted by the jail chaplain. Melissa's son was the deputy that conducted the one and only visit Jesse had since he was released from prison. That's important, and I hope people keep talking about it, because something is way, way off. Let me show you guys. I want to know. I just want to know why they were spread out that way. You know, some of them, why some were together, why they had various amounts of gunshot wounds. It just doesn't make sense, you guys. I don't know. And maybe the theory that these things took place over a number of days, that kind of is the one way that I can make sense of it. But before I show you the windmill video, I'll show you some of the. So Holly had 3 gunshot wounds. Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were the 3 that were found together but separate, each about a football field and a half away from each other. Then we have Tiffany, Michael, Holly, and Jesse all together, but Tiffany and Michael have 2 gunshot wounds. That is, I don't know. There's got to be a reason for that. And then if you missed it, I'll just show this part. This is where they were found, very far from the house, closer to the interstate behind the house. And we used news media showing this trail and the cops back there and these wood piles. There's a whole, if you watch, like I have a video with the map as the thumbnail, that one we really explain it, but I'll play this one more time in case you guys hadn't seen, just to see like visually how far they were from the house. And I don't know, it's bizarre.
The victims found in one spot?
No.
Whereabouts were they found?
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately, approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other, and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found, and they were all together.
The victims found in
What you doing? I tried to give you 2.
Hey, good morning, Gracie Caden. I see you happy to see me. before you get to spin them too fast, why don't we stop for a minute? Let's do it on the count. What do you say? All right.
I don't know if I was or not, Melissa.
Thank you.
Probably,
Right.
I don't know.
All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, Gracie Caden. Now. All right. Now there's other stuff. Count of 3, young lady. 1, 2, 3. Go, Gracie, go. There you go. Yes. Making noise. Don't tell me. Better. I think that's rubbing on something. I don't know. I'll find out in a minute. I'll walk over there. Please. Let me get that bad boy just a humming. I'm telling you.
Watch it. It's crazy though. So his whole TikTok, it's really sad because I went and watched his entire TikTok is videos of this, but he'll walk up and everyone will start just going really fast, and then he'll be like, I don't know if it would freaking load there. Yes. So Mystic, there were the first 3 were separate, but it was Riley, Tiffany, and Ivy. They were all separate, but they were found, yes, right near that creek. Because let me show you why I know that. So there's news footage of, I gotta go way back. Where the heck is that? Okay. So look, we have the police out there at the scene, and you can see this wood pile and this back road. And with the measurements that the police gave, if you use that on Google Maps, you can actually see the same wood pile and the creek. You see the creek in the background on Google Maps. And that is why on that we angled it in the specific way that we did. Here's another overview. But that's an investigator out there and a tarp. That's when they were out there. Then we also had, what is this? That's Google Maps of the wood piles. But we also had this, which showed the investigators were right by this trail that's barely been, it's like a 4-wheeler trail or something. And this is where the creek is in this tree line. So based on those things, there's the trail, and there's one of the wood piles, and here's the other one. This is the tree line where the creek is. So that is why you've got the one that is right by, well, there's 3, but the one spot that is right by the creek right here, but they were spread out through here. So, we see the tarp that's like right in this area. So one of them may have been here, but the other 2 were 150 yards away from that point. Then that's the same point right there. There's the creek, that trail, the wood piles. One's right there. One's under the orange thing. And then, let me see. The second ones were found all the way over here. And there's this little body of water. It's like a little pond. Let me get another shot of that area. Here we go. So this is angled slightly different than we had it, because after we found the news footage, we knew it was closer to the trail, but it's still the same distance that the cop described. And then he said they were 450, the other 4 were 450 yards east and a little bit south. So we have this body of water right here next to the highway. And that is why we think it was right there, just based on the measurements the cops gave and stuff. I'm going to share this guy's TikTok. If anybody's over there and you are into anything like that, go watch it. It's pitiful what they've been through, and his videos are truly incredible. Those windmills will go and stop on command. Can they do better with private investigators? One's more loyal to the full story for the victims. Well, I don't know, but I hope OSBI, I hope they do a better job. I have some faith that maybe they will. When law enforcement stated there was a stage scene, could that have been the inside of the house was staged? Maybe he put that all out and then stuff after I don't know. I kind of felt like he meant the victims were staged. I saw that, Shelly. I didn't follow that. Rena's been doing it. No way. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, that's who I thought of immediately. I don't know what else they need to learn to know the guy did this pretty much why. I get that the family does deserve to know for closure, but they do believe the stepdad did this. Yes, so they do believe he did it. But I think the point is, number one, and this is just based on really the OSBI, that statement they gave. They want to know what happened, what led up to this event, what happened during this event, and if there is anybody else tied in. Because usually with, people like Jesse, they hang out with other freaks. If you missed the live I did showing his Twitter and his likes on there, I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. Little girls, like 16-year-old looking girls sitting on a desk in a classroom showing their up their skirts, or it's just absolutely disgusting. And the girls may be of age, they're like little models, but they don't look like it. They look like teenagers. He should have never been out. If he served his full sentence, he'd still be in jail. He got in trouble several times in jail. We went through all of that. I'm sorry, he should have never been out. And I think it's good people are talking about it, and we're going to keep talking about it as things come out. He meant they were moved. Maybe he shot the first victims and the others heard the shots and came running and met their fate. It's possible, Kate. Or I know there's a theory that it took place over a period of a couple days. So what if some of them were first? I don't know. We just don't know. Hey, Jaded. All right, you guys. So I'm going to go. I so appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to go watch Melissa's live and try to gather some stuff on the Wells. Because yet again, the story has changed. And there's some pretty big things coming out with that. But I want to tie up some loose ends before we come talk about it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys whenever there's something new. And yeah, I love and appreciate you guys. And I hope you have a really good day. Join me over at Miss Melissa's for an alley rally. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Jaded. Thank you, Apple Bottom Jeans. The country state. Oh, yes. And tonight I'll be on Jen's. It'll be some Lori Vallow stuff at 9:00. And yeah. Oh, love you too, truly. My West Virginia mama, my mountain mama. And then we have Jade in here now. Let me do something really quick. Ava, I'm going to give you a wrench. You don't have to, if you don't want it, let me know. But you're here all the time, and sometimes we don't have them. And there are a couple other people here, like Pointer Lover and Punksy, that I love, and they're here all the time, but they're wrenched on the other channel. I'm wanting to get more active over there, and I don't want to have people doubled up. So anyways, thank you guys for being here. I will see you soon. Have a good day. And yeah, that's all. Bye.